Hey guys, it's Dr. Rick, and welcome to another Functional Fitness Friday. Today what I would like to talk about is shallow water running. You know, in my experience over the past 25 years, I've worked with quite a few athletes. I've worked with a lot of track and field athletes and have done my share of both deep water as well as shallow water running. And actually have had the privilege of publishing a research study looking at shallow water sprinting versus land-based sprinting. You know, if you guys want to check that out, it's under the resources page of my website, rickmcavoyaquatics.com, and you can review the full article if you would like. But obviously, shallow water running or water running in general isn't a new concept. I mean, deep water running has been around since the 70s or I believe the 80s. But what we're starting to see is that the literature is getting better with shallow water running in particular. So I believe it was last month, June, in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research that Nagel and Sanders came out with a somewhat of like a protocol kind of for shallow water running. So you guys can check that out, the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, if you would like. But the benefits of water running, obviously, because of the buoyant properties of water, you have that unloading. So you're giving your muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments a break. So whether you're rehabilitating from an injury or you're cross training or you're doing some active recovery, the water is definitely a great place. When we look at the cardiovascular or cardiorespiratory status, it's very similar. Your body or your heart actually functions more efficiently in the water. The pressure of the water around your chest is going to give you a little bit more resistance, so you have to work harder with those respiratory muscles, so to create a better training effect. The flexibility because of buoyancy, drag, viscosity, your arms and legs are under the water and you're getting some really nice flexibility increases in both your arms and legs and even maybe in your trunk. And obviously strengthening because of viscosity and drag. The faster you go, the more resistance you'll get. You're going to get some strengthening in those areas as well. And I think a big thing for me is that kinesthetic feedback that the water gives you. It's going to help with your posture. It's going to help with your pattern, and you're going to get a lot more of that kinesthetic feedback. When I'm working with athletes in the water, what I like to use is I like to use more of a dynamic pool, so a pool with a current. And my go-to dynamic pool is the Master Spa Michael Phelps signature model with the soft tread flooring system. Master Spa is the largest swim spa manufacturer in the world. The swim spa that I use, the Michael Phelps Signature S, it's a deeper tub. So if you have a client or an athlete who is like say 6 feet or whatever, they can definitely still get in the water up to right below their chest and do all their activities with the benefits of water as well. When we look at the current system, it's a propulsion system, so the current comes out, it's nice and smooth. And it's wide enough that you can swim against it and exercise against it, but it's not so wide that if you're working with another client or another client is in the water, that is going to be subjected to that current and that client's going to be getting blown over. So I kind of really like that as well. And the soft tread flooring system, I can't say enough about it. It's more of it's like a pad, a very, probably like a 1/8 of an inch thick that goes onto the bottom of the spa, and it's like non-slip. So one of the things that I always deal with, and probably a lot of you guys deal with too, is when you're working with athletes in a pool, whether it has a liner or not, and you get these clients a little bit deeper in the water, you'll get some slipping of their feet. So that's where the shoes like the Speedo Wake shoe or the AQX shoe really works fairly well, but you still do get a little bit of loss of traction. But with this soft tread flooring system, you don't move. I mean, you're like stuck to the floor, and it works so great. So I use that when I'm doing any sort of running or high power moves, agility, speed work. It's cushioned, but it's super has super traction. So I really like that a lot. And then you got the current that you can grade higher or lower to create more of a challenge and really work on form. When we look at form, obviously the form running in the water, especially shallow water, is you're not really going to have a lot of extension of those legs, but you're going to get more of a higher knee motion. but you're going to be able to really kind of get that tight elbow and high knee motion when you're running through the water. So especially when you're doing it with the current, you're going to get a lot more feedback. So what I would like to do is show you a video actually of my son Noah, who is a cross-country runner. And has been running for about 2-3 years now. And when he first started, just like that very typical runner that didn't have a lot of endurance and his form was off. And then he started to get better, obviously, the more he trained. But then what happened last year is he really grew like most, 15-year-old kids do, 4 to 5 inches, like pretty much overnight. But, got tall, but didn't have a lot of stability. And when he was running, it was kind of like he was all over the place, kind of almost doing like that swimming head bobble type of thing. So we really worked a lot on just his form and integrated the swim spa, especially with the current, to kind of work on more of a much better pattern. And it worked very well. So again, we were able to grade it slower to faster, and which I really like about that too, because you can do tempo runs, you can do fartlek training, and really get a lot of higher intensity moves with the dynamic pool, which I like. But one of the things too is that I find with the swim spa is that you can adjust it, and it really kind of challenges them everywhere, which is very important for cross country running, because when they're running, they're not running on a level surface. They're in the woods. They're running on a lot of uneven surfaces. So it really works well for that. So check that out. Sorry this video is so long, but a lot of information to cover. But check it out. Feedback is always appreciated. You guys want any good training, rickmcavoyaquatics.com. Hope you enjoy the video, and hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday. All right, see you later.